I'm an exchange alumnus.
I'm an exchange alumna.
I'm an exchange alumna.
I'm an exchange alumnus.
I am an exchange alumna.
I'm an exchange alumna.
People, places, and international exchange. Voices of Exchange delivers unforgettable first-person stories from people transformed by international exchange.
I remember learning how to cook.
These exchange alumni share stories of growth, unexpected friendship, and career inspiration from all around the world.
We are
the Voices of Exchange.
We all want to be approved by somebody. But if you are not authentic, you are not going to be proved by anybody. And you have to be proved by you first, not by everybody else.
A motocross accident forever changed Daniel Gomez de la Vega's life. But today, as a world champion winning para-triathlete, founder, and director of Surfeando Sonrisas, or Surfing Smiles, and exchange alumnus of the Global Sports Mentoring Program. Daniel finds that being in a wheelchair is challenging, yet fun, an endless journey, as he calls it.
My name is Daniel Gomez de la Vega. I'm 37 years old. I'm from Mexico City, but I used to live in Acapulco Bay. It's a beautiful bay, obviously on the Ocean Pacific. Now I live in Guadalajara. My wife is from here. I have two kids. I have one kid. His name is Sebastian. He's 3 years old. And I have a baby girl, Jimena. She's 8 months old, almost 9. I do a lot of things. I love sports. I love adrenaline. I have a nonprofit. I also do motivational speaking, like keynote speaking. When you hear about surfing, you can say, well, those guys don't do anything. They just smoke weed and blah, blah, blah. Probably there's a lot of people like that, no? And there's no harm in that. But I think it's way much more than that. Surfing people take care about the ocean, take care about the beaches, plastic pollution. Surfers nowadays are more athletic than they used to. And after my accident, I surfed probably 6 or 7 months after my accident. And I have to say that when I got my accident, I passed 5 months in the hospital. So 2 months after leaving the hospital, I was riding my first wave, of course, with the help of my friends. And that moment was the moment. That was everything. That was in that wave, in that particular wave that I have it recorded. A friend of mine was taking video, and I have it. It was a small wave, but probably the best wave in my life. And that was the wave that told me, you have to get back in the ocean. This is healing. You have to start working from here. And yeah, surfing and sports in general have been a huge pillar. I don't know if that's a word, but we use it in Mexico, pilar. A big thing in my life, you know. It's not just fun to have to do exercise. No, it's more than that. It teaches me all the time. It makes me who am I today. It helps with my good habits. Sports help with a lot. And now I just think about surfing all the time. Take for example, when you go to the beach, I don't know if you live around the beach area, but if you don't, when you go to the beach, you start feeling different. You start feeling this freedom. When you start feeling the wind in your face, when you start smelling the sand or the seawater, or probably you can smell some fishes. I don't know. I think just going to the beach, going to the ocean, allow me to open all my sense, which sometimes when we live in big cities, you are shut down. You are just looking the same things, smelling the same things, And just by going to the beach, it opened my mind. And when you go into the ocean, that's when everything starts to happen. I'm very, I'm very a risky guy. I love to take risks. Uh, I love to put me in situations that I don't know if I can control them or uh, if I can go alive out of that situation. Surfing is very, very, it's a serious sport. It's very dangerous. And I think what I think is more healing about being in the ocean and healing, for start, I don't need my legs to be in the ocean. You know, I don't need to walk. I feel I feel even with my peers, with my friends, and that was something that it bothers me a lot in the past. That I, I don't I don't like to be left behind because I can walk or because I can move or whatever. When I'm in the ocean, I'm the same. I don't think about my legs. Uh, I don't think about if I can surf on the standing position. Surfing is surfing, you know. Surfing is it's just riding a wave. It's flying in the water, and you can do it on the standing position or on the prone division position. I surf laid down on my stomach, and I think what is more important about surfing for me is that it gives me the chance to be present, you know, to be there, to be at that precise moment. And I think as humans, we always are trying to be present all the time, but our minds, our technology, now what's happening with all this social media bombing all the time, it's pulling us in different directions. And surfing, it keeps me away all that. And I'm just thinking about being there, being safe, reading the ocean, hearing my body, hearing my thoughts. And I don't think about anything. I'm just the 2 or 3 hours that I'm surfing. I'm surfing. You know, I'm not anywhere else. And I think that that's what is healing for me. I had an accident on 2011, a motocross accident. I was riding my bike. An average accident, I might say. It was pretty random. I wasn't going that fast. I hesitated on the jump, and that was it. I broke my back. I have a spinal cord injury at T8 level, which is around above my core. So yeah, it's been a very what's the word? Very, I don't know, emotional, fun at the same time, challenging, being in a wheelchair, but definitely it could be worse, you know. So I'm not that bad. So being in a wheelchair is it's like an endless journey. When I go out with my kids to move around on the sidewalks, uh, trying to do a new sport, uh, going on vacations to a place that I don't know anything about it. When I started dating my wife, all those things were totally different. Even though I knew it from past experience, it was very new to be in a wheelchair, to be on the sitting position. You see the world in a different perspective, and I think the world sees you also differently. Even though I'm the same Daniel, I have uh, a few upgrades, I might say. But yeah, I think people see me different. Not bad, just different, you know? It's like I didn't change a lot my personality, but at the same time, I can I can tell that I'm different from my accent today. So So after a few years of trying to walk again, to do a lot of physical therapy and do this and that, that's when I realized that yeah, this could be my life forever. But not until I try it, not because just the doctor told me that. Uh, of course, a lot of fear, uh, but fear is really, really good. I love being fear. I'm not fearless like a lot of people can say, but it's a good tool if you know how to use it. Uh, of course, I went through a lot of depression in different moments of these past 10 years. I can say you that I have sometimes a little bit of depression, not regarding my accent, but regarding different aspects of life. But I think I can go through them on the more fast way than I used to. Uh, I know when the depression or when a sad moment is coming, and I can know how to navigate it. I was thinking more about going to a university and have a lot of more, how can I say, yeah, more challenge, more intellectual challenge, like being very challenged to, I don't understand this. Can you explain me to do? Can I make an essay? Can I do things to get over it? And my first week was very difficult because everybody was so happy and yeah, high five here, I'm done. And I wasn't like that. I was like, wow, well, these poor people, I hate it. No, everybody was very optimistic. That's the word. And to be like that, you have to feel like that. You have to live like that. It's very difficult to be optimistic to everybody else if you don't feel that way. Um, that was the first difficult moment for me. And after a few days, I think you are here. Be optimistic. Why not? Just make high fives with everybody. And I think the best experience of the GSMP program was that interracial experience to be in the same room with people from different countries, with different languages, with different costumes. Everything was different. In my program, there was people from Korea, from China, from Senegal, from a lot of different places in Africa, from Egypt, from Latin America, people, able-bodied people, people with disability. I think that's, for me, the most important part of the program, because if you don't have that big picture, you don't know how the social impact world, the nonprofit world, it's around the world. You only know what's happening in your country. And if it's not good, if you live in a third world country that it's very difficult to develop a program like Surfeando Sonrisas or another program, you don't have that different mind thinking about stop complaining that Mexico doesn't have what USA has, but try to change it and tropicalize it so you can make more with what you have in Mexico with 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 whatever you learn on the GSM program. And another thing that I love about this program is that just because being part of the Department State program, you have a lot of huge benefits. You get into this big alumni database. You can apply for different programs. Uh, it's awesome how USA can help others. It changed a little bit my way of thinking about the USA, which in the past I didn't love it a lot. But after this, I was like, yeah, they can do a lot of good, bad things, whatever. But for me, they are helping a lot. I can say you that probably half of the money that we have since the moment that we found Surfeando Sonrisas had come outside Mexico. I had the opportunity to go to Phoenix, in Arizona, to Ability 360, and wow, that's a big nonprofit. It's bigger than a company. It's doing so much good, and for do so much good, you have to be you have to run a business, even though it's a nonprofit. I start thinking about nonprofit as a business because it has to pay salaries, it has to have people, you have to have money. Here in Mexico, nonprofits, they see them like, no, you don't have, why you have money? You're a nonprofit. Now, if you see, I don't know, if you go whatever to LA and if you saw a football player or a businessman getting out of a Ferrari, you will say, okay, they earned it. But if you see, I don't know, a big, I don't know, the biggest nonprofit, whatever, you name it, the CEO of that nonprofit getting out of a Ferrari, you will say, that's very harmful, you know? They shouldn't have a Ferrari. You don't know if that guy has another business and he can have it. So yeah, I changed my mind. Um, yeah, follow. It's gonna be very difficult. You have to know that follow your passion or your dreams is gonna be very difficult because normally everything that we do and we care, it's difficult. But you have to start knowing that, and you have to also be very conscious that you can fail on the process, and that's also an option. And you have to be very aware of that because if you don't, and you fail, which you're gonna fail somehow or some when, and that's not bad. Uh, it can take you to the bottom if you are not aware that failing is an option. I'm not saying that you have to feel very good about failing. No, not at all. But yeah, it's part of the journey, and be around people that is following the same things as you. Probably it doesn't have the same dream or the same passion, but you can tell when people is more in tune with you. And if you don't have that people around you, start making decisions and start saying no to some social circles that you don't want to be longer in that space, you know. I don't think we don't have much time in this world to do things that we don't want to do, or to be with people that we don't seem the meaning of being with them. Um, that's not bad. You can say no to a lot of things, and I think it's very difficult for us to say no to something because you start thinking, what would they think of me? And we start putting a lot of weight into what people is thinking about you. I used to do that a lot of time, all the time. I was trying to be in people's mind, which is crazy. I can do that. I, I, I don't have that power. Uh, yeah, I'm in a wheelchair, but I'm not Charles Xavier from the X-Men, you know? So I don't have, I'm not that able. Uh, but when you stop thinking about what people think about you, it's so liberating. People doesn't care about you. You have to understand that nobody cares about you. The only thing who cares about you is you, probably your family too. But when you think about that, when you go to social media, when you post something and you just wanna have likes and people to join to your page, that's when you start with the wrong foot. You have to do it because you want to. You have to be authentic. You have to be you, and that's the way you are gonna develop more things in this world. Because, like I said before, everybody is pulling and pushing from different directions. And what's your direction? You have to dig in that and follow that direction. And of course, fear. I always talk about fear, and we all want to be approved by somebody. But if you are not authentic, you are not going to be approved by anybody. And you have to be you have to be proved by you first, not by everybody else. Yeah, Surfeando Sonrisas. Everything starts when I get back on the water. After that wave that I told you guys that I ride, that was the start of the journey, and I started surfing more and more and more. And a good friend of mine, Arturo, which we are very close, he told me, you cannot be selfish about this. You cannot just serve you and not let other people to know about this. I can see what it's doing to you. I can see the way you're changing, the way you're getting better just by surfing. I think he was the first friend. We came very close after my accident. We were friends, but we weren't that close. And I think he was the first friend that gave me the opportunity to get back to life because he pulled me to his project. It was a project about surfing, and then I start going to beaches and I start going to places that I thought it was very difficult, which they are. To be in a wheelchair and being on the sand is totally difficult. And every time that I challenged something else, I was discovering that it was possible to do it. It was difficult, of course, but it was possible. And being in a wheelchair and being the only guy in the wheelchair in the beach. Normally, I'm the only guy on a wedding, on a party. It was difficult, you know. It was like I feel different. Yeah, you are different. You are the only guy in the wheelchair. So challenging those particular moments on the beach, and Arturo saying you don't have to be selfish about it. That's when we thought about doing a nonprofit, and this was almost 8 years ago. And the nonprofit, Surfeando Sonrisas, we founded 4 years ago, almost in 2018. So it took me a lot of years to develop this. I wasn't at that moment. I wasn't prepared to help others. I was receiving help from others. Now I'm up to the task to provide more things to the disabled world. I don't like to talk about disability. I like to talk more about inclusion. But sometimes it feels that the disability world is so far apart from the able-bodied world, which we are all humans, and it's so stupid to say this, but it feels like that. And the purpose or the objective that Surfeando Sonrisas has is, of course, bringing more confidence, more outdoors experiences for people with disabilities. And of course, surfing is so difficult to do it when these kids and their families realize that after the day, after the clinic, they were able to do it. That's very empowering, you know, because you can move around on the beach, you change yourself on the wheelchair in the beach, you surf, and you had an awesome day. And I think at the end of the day, that's very empowering for people, not just for kids, for the families, for the volunteers, for the instructors, even for us, for our staff. This is a huge impact, and I think we as humans have to be more empathetic about someone's problems. We have to be more in tune as a collective world instead of being very individual. And of course, one of the main objectives of the nonprofit is to bring inclusion to Mexico. If you have in the same place, in the same event, people with disabilities and able-bodied people, that's inclusion. No, because the problem is that people doesn't know about disabilities. They don't know about what happened to a spinal cord injury. And when I go to schools, I do a lot of the speaking. When I go to schools and I bring my surfboards or my hand cycle and I talk with kids from every ages, they know after the talk, they have a different opinion. They are, oh, he's just in a wheelchair. He's like me. He doesn't have that ability for walking, but he has a lot of abilities. And that's very empowering. And also what Surfeando Sonrisas, and this is a new project that we're trying to develop, is that all the places, all the cities, all the beaches that Surfeando Sonrisas goes, we have to bring or to develop access to the beaches, because that's a big problem. We don't have good access to beaches for everybody. We always think about ramps for people in wheelchairs, but we want to shape that mindset. Ramps are for everybody. We have to think that way. If not, we are always segregated because it's for the wheelchairs. No, it's for everybody. It's for the guy who is bringing a cooler full of beers. It's for a girl with a straw, with her baby or with her son. And yeah, Surfeando Sonrisas started just to providing aquatic experience for people with disability. But I think during this journey, our mission is way bigger than just providing sports for people with disability. Yeah, because that's the biggest problem for me. Moving around it's my biggest problem. And when you can move around, when you can go to a toilet in a restaurant, to a bathroom, that impacts your self-esteem for sure. If I can move around just because once there and my son, which is 3 years old, can be in danger because of the cars or whatever, and I can do nothing because just one fucking there, that's huge, and we have to change that. I think everybody has a mission in this world. It can be small, it can be big, but if you don't pursue your mission, if you don't pursue your calling, I think that affects on a worldwide view. So everybody has to try to push and follow your dreams, because if you do that, our global dream, it will not be that far away.
We would like to thank Daniel Gomez de la Vega for sharing his story with us. And thank you, our listeners, for joining us. Don't forget to tell your friends about your favorite podcast, Voices of Exchange, available on all major podcast platforms, and remind them to subscribe so they can enjoy more stories like Daniel's. And to keep it brief, as I would say in Greek, ade, taleme, which means we'll talk again soon.